It's 8 p.m. You sent that message an hour ago. No reply. You check your phone. Nothing. You check it again. Your chest is tight. Your brain won't stop. You're not waiting. You're hunting. Hunting for proof that everything's okay. There's a name for this loop, and a 3-step system that breaks it. I'll show you exactly how it works. You check the door lock twice. You ask your coworker, "Was my presentation really good enough?" You refresh the news, looking for a sign the world isn't about to fall apart. You think you're being careful? You're not. Every time you get that one more answer, the relief fades fast. Then it comes back, heavier than before. You're exhausted. Your chest is tight again, and the next check is already pulling. Here's what it's actually costing you. You're burning your focus on a guarantee that doesn't exist. The check doesn't help you act. It replaces action. You scroll instead of prepare. You ask instead of decide. You wait instead of move. And every time you do, the loop gets shorter, tighter, louder. This isn't a character flaw. It's a mechanism, and the exit isn't where you think. That's the trap. But the loop is doing something your brain can't see yet. Your brain runs a prediction engine non-stop. It scans your environment, calculates what it expects, then compares that to what actually happens. When you're anxious, silent partner, weird email, uncertain future, your brain reads it as a threat. It wants one thing, the feeling of safety. So you ask, "Is everything okay?" They say yes. Your brain gets a better outcome than it expected. Dopamine hits, fast, powerful, gone in seconds. Now the wiring turns against you. Your brain files that answer away. Next time the anxiety spikes, it already knows what to get. Same question, same answer. No surprise, no dopamine, zero relief. The same words from your partner feel hollow. The same news check does nothing. So your system demands more. Ask twice, check 3 times, refresh for an hour instead of 5 minutes. You're not calming down between those checks. You're just resetting the clock on the next urge. Every check shortens the window before the next one hits. That's the loop tightening, not loosening. Here's the part nobody tells you. You think the check relieved the pressure? It didn't. It moved the pressure forward by 10 minutes. An hour of checking is an hour of tightening, not resting. Most people never see it, because the relief feels real. It is real. It just doesn't last long enough to matter. Think about the last time you checked. Did the check give you a clear head to focus? Or did it give you 90 seconds of quiet, then pulled you back in? That's the mechanism in plain sight. You're not managing anxiety, you're feeding it a schedule. And here's the mistake almost everyone makes next. They try harder. Ask louder. Check more often. Think that if they just get the right answer, the loop stops. It doesn't. It never does. Nearly 2,000 years ago, before neuroscience, before any of this, a man named Epictetus mapped this exact trap. Born a slave in Rome, no property, no freedom, no control over his own body. From that position, he figured out something most free people never do. He wrote it in the very first line of his handbook. There are things within our power, and things beyond our power. Within your power, your choices, your response, how you carry yourself. Beyond your power, your partner's mood, your boss's opinion, what the market does tomorrow. Every time you seek reassurance, you're reaching into that second category. Demanding the world tell you it's safe. He went further. Whoever controls what you want or fear owns you. Every time you wait for that reassuring text, you hand the key to your emotional state to someone else, to a world that can't give you what you're asking for. Your partner is silent? Let them be silent. The future is uncertain. Let it be uncertain. That missing text isn't hurting you. Your demand that it must exist. That's what's doing the damage. Here's what that means right now. You can't get the certainty, but you can pull back the demand. That's the move. That's exactly what the 3 steps do. Now the protocol. 3 steps, 1 sequence, 0 willpower required. Step 1. The algorithmic delay. The urge hits, check the phone, ask the question, refresh the feed. Don't. Set a timer, 20 minutes. Sit with the discomfort. Feel it. Don't move toward the answer. Why it works. You're not ignoring the anxiety. You're teaching your prediction engine one thing. Uncertainty is not a lethal threat. Every time you don't go hunting, you rewrite one line of the old wiring. What changes immediately in the first 60 seconds? The urge peaks, then drops. Not because the problem disappeared, because you survived not knowing. By 10 minutes, it's already quieter, not gone, quieter. That's the wiring shifting. Picture that phone on the table, screen dark, your hand not moving toward it. The first 30 seconds are the hardest. Your brain throws reasons at you, just a quick check. What if something happened? Don't move. By the time the timer hits 10 minutes, you can breathe around it. The urge is still there, but it's smaller. You're larger than it now. That 1 rep is the whole thing. If you already checked before you caught yourself, fine. Set the timer anyway. The next rep still counts. Step 2. The locus check. While you wait, ask yourself out loud, is this actually in my control? Your boss's opinion? Not yours. Your partner's silence? Not yours. The market? Not yours. Say it out loud. This is not my own. Why it works, naming the category, mine versus not mine, shifts what your brain does next. You stop fighting the situation. You redirect toward what you can actually move. What changes immediately? That tight feeling shifts, less like a threat, more like a fact you can stand next to. Something in your shoulders drops. That's not a metaphor, that's the mechanism. Say it out loud, not in your head. Hearing your own voice say, "This is not my own," hits different than reading it. Your brain registers it differently. That physical act is what breaks the loop. Here's what that looks like. You're sitting with the timer running. The thought comes, what if they're actually upset with me? Old move. Text again, ask again, look for a sign. New move. Is their mood in my control? No. This is not my own. You say it. You don't fix it. You don't chase it. You let it sit there, and you sit next to it without reaching. That's not giving up, that's withdrawing a demand you were never going to win. Step 3. The worst case acceptance. Stop asking for proof everything will be fine. Face the other direction instead. Assume the presentation didn't land. Assume the silence means something bad. Assume the worst. Now, don't ask someone else. Ask yourself out loud, can I take 1 step forward from here? Why it works. Every check of the phone is trying to answer one question underneath all the others. Can I handle this? Every reassurance you hunt for is trying to answer that. This step answers it directly from the inside. That's why it cuts where the other 2 can't reach. What changes immediately? The hunting stops. You're not waiting for the world to hand you your stability. You located it yourself. That's the only place it ever actually lived. Your cue. Can I take 1 step forward? Out loud? Most people, when they actually stop and ask, find the answer is yes. Not everything is fine. Not nothing bad will happen. Just Yes, I can take the next step. That's enough. That's the whole system. Back to 8 p.m., phone on the table, chest tight. The urge hits. You don't pick it up. You set the timer instead. 60 seconds in, your brain throws the first excuse. You don't move. 10 minutes in, the urge drops. You can breathe around it. You do the Locus check out loud. This is not my own. Something in your shoulders drops. You face the worst and ask the question. And you find you're still standing, still thinking clearly, still capable of the next step. That gap between the urge and your hand moving toward the phone, that's the system working. It starts small. It grows every time you use it. This loop breaks here. But the same engine doesn't stop at the phone. You felt it before a decision. Something you want to do, a risk you want to take, a first step you keep postponing. The need for proof before you move, the need for a guarantee before you act. Same mechanism, different room, bigger price. Which step hit hardest for you? The delay, the Locus check, or facing the worst? Drop it below. If this landed, subscribe. That next room is what's coming.